You felt it, haven't you? You look at your bank account at the end of the month, you look at your salary, and the math just, it doesn't make sense anymore. You did everything they told you to do, you played by the rules. 5, maybe 10 years ago, the numbers sitting on your screen right now would have meant absolute comfort. They would have meant a rapidly growing savings account, a very predictable, safe path to buying a home, and a solid buffer against any kind of disaster. But today, the finish line keeps moving further and further away into the distance, and you're sprinting just to stand still. Well, welcome to the great economic illusion of 2026. What we are about to unpack in this explainer today, it isn't just a simple glitch in the matrix. It's not some random accident of inflation either. No, it is a highly efficient, meticulously engineered wealth extraction machine, and it's operating right out in the open. So we have to ask the big question. Why does making a six-figure salary, a number that used to signify undeniable, absolute success, why does it now feel like you were just barely scraping by? $100,000 used to buy you the quintessential American dream, right? A detached home in a beautiful neighborhood, 2 cars sitting in the driveway, taking the family on annual vacations, and having the peace of mind that comes with a fully funded retirement account. But today, in the major metropolitan areas of this country, that exact same salary barely covers your rent, your groceries, and your student loans. Now, before we expose the structural mechanisms behind this brutal reality, I need you to do something absolutely crucial for me. Subscribe to the USA Riff channel right now. Hit that like button on this explainer, drop a comment below letting us know how the exact cost of living is hitting your specific city, and please consider becoming a channel member to support this deep dive into the hidden truths of wealth. Because we are pulling back the curtain on how money actually moves in this country, and more importantly, who is really taking it from you. Okay, let's dive into this. First things first, it is time to completely let go of the guilt. Seriously, take a deep breath. You are not broke because you occasionally buy a coffee or because you haven't balanced your personal spreadsheet perfectly this month. Sure, personal habits definitely matter. Financial discipline is always going to matter. But that overarching, suffocating financial pressure you feel pressing down on your chest, that is a macroeconomic, systemic extraction of your wealth. And the craziest part, it is entirely dictated by where you physically exist on the map. Simply put, your geography has been weaponized against you. Let's look at the foundational proof of this trap, because the numbers do not lie. Since the year 2000, home prices in the United States have surged by a staggering 56% in real inflation-adjusted terms. And what about the money you actually bring home? Over that exact same period, real incomes only grew by 8.5%. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. 56% against 8.5%. Imagine a hardworking family aggressively saving $500 every single month for 5 long years. They're sacrificing their lifestyle, skipping dinners out, doing everything right, only to wake up and realize the down payment goalpost just moved $50,000 further out of reach. The system was never designed for the average person to easily win. It was literally designed to keep you on a treadmill where the ground beneath you moves infinitely faster than your legs could possibly run. Section 2, the true cost of survival. The invisible drains on your paycheck. Let's transition to the granular, hidden costs of simply staying alive. These are the silent drains that slowly bleed your paycheck completely dry before you even have a chance to think about building wealth. These exact mechanisms are what keep the middle class trapped in a relentless, unforgiving paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer, undeniable disparity in basic utility costs. The average U.S. household utility bill has quietly ballooned to $610 per month, but the pain you feel is entirely dependent on your zip code. Look at West Virginia sitting at the top of the data, a brutal, back-breaking $797 monthly burden just to keep the lights on and the water running in your home. Why did this happen? Well, in the 5 years leading up to 2026, electricity costs increased by 47%. Natural gas prices, they more than doubled, surging an astronomical 103% due to infrastructure constraints and massive global supply shifts. Water bills alone rose 59%. When you combine electric, gas, and water, we are looking at a 64% spike over just 5 short years. These aren't luxury expenses you can just cut back on when things get tight. This is the literal baseline cost of human survival. And if you happen to live in a state like Missouri or Hawaii, you are paying over $700 a month into an absolute void, while someone over in New Mexico pays just $463. Your environment is literally consuming your cash before you even wake up in the morning. And then there is the incredible cost of simply keeping your physical body alive. I want you to notice this massive number, $1,224. That is the average 2026 monthly healthcare premium for a standard silver plan in the state of Vermont.
Let me be clear. That is not the deductible. That is not the out-of-pocket maximum. That is not your copay at the doctor's office. That is just the base premium you have to pay to have the insurance active before you even use it for a single checkup. Nationwide, the average has hit $752 a month, which represents a massive 21% jump in just a single year. And down in Arkansas, they saw a shocking 67% annual spike. What does that mean for a real breathing family? It means sacrificing groceries. It means draining whatever emergency funds you had left. If you are 60 years old right now, your average monthly healthcare cost now exceeds $1,300. Older demographics, specifically those 55 and up, make up 31% of the population but consume 56% of total health spending. The system doesn't absorb that. It passes these soaring claims costs directly to you in the form of unforgiving geographical premium traps.
Next, we absolutely have to dissect how taxation weaponizes your location against you. Because the narrative pushed online is often drastically oversimplified, isn't it? You hear it all the time. Just move to Texas. They have zero state income tax. But listen to me. The system always gets its pound of flesh. Texas may have zero income tax, sure, but its effective property tax is a hefty 1.81%. That means a modest $200,000 home is going to cost you $3,620 annually in taxes, forever. Meanwhile, over in Alabama, that exact same $200,000 home carries a property tax bill of just $820. Illinois literally punishes its homeowners with a 2.07% rate, actively forcing families out of their generational homes because they can't afford the tax bill on a house they already paid off. And then there is Louisiana, which slowly bleeds lower-income families through everyday consumption with a combined sales tax of over 10%. Every single gallon of milk, every pair of shoes for your kids, every basic household good comes with a 10% penalty just for existing there. You are navigating a geographical minefield where every single state extracts your wealth using a different, carefully disguised, invisible lever. Section 3. The Coastal Wealth Trap. The Illusion of Ownership. For decades, we have been sold a beautifully packaged story that coastal cities are the ultimate lands of opportunity. But the hard data reveals they are in fact structural traps. They are meticulously designed to keep you renting indefinitely. Here is the deeply uncomfortable mathematical truth. As of March 2026, across all 50 of the largest U.S. metropolitan areas, renting a starter home is fundamentally cheaper than buying one. In every single major market, the rent versus buy math is completely inverted. On average, you literally save $920 a month by renting instead of buying. The traditional American dream of coastal home ownership is currently mathematically irrational. With highly elevated interest rates, hidden maintenance costs, and surging insurance premiums that are entirely trapped by geography, buying a home on the coast is no longer an investment. It is a financial anchor tied around your neck. So the crucial point is, I want you to look at the staggering penalty you pay to participate in these specific housing markets. In San Jose, California, the monthly penalty to buy a home rather than rent is a massive, life-altering $2,425. You are paying a premium of over 74% just for the sheer privilege of ownership. In Los Angeles, it costs $2,226 more per month to buy. Boston penalizes you with an $1,815 monthly gap. What is the psychological toll of paying $2,400 extra every single month just to hold the title of homeowner? This isn't because the lumber and the drywall are intrinsically worth that much more. Not at all. It is a symptom of a chronic, systemic lack of housing inventory. The coasts have engineered a permanent shortage, ensuring the middle class is securely, permanently locked out of equity generation. So, why do millions of smart, highly educated, incredibly hardworking people stay? Why do they feed a system that so clearly and so aggressively extracts their wealth? Because it is a psychological trap. It's the deep-seated, paralyzing fear of leaving what you know. It's the completely manufactured illusion that leaving a coastal city means you somehow failed, that moving inward to the middle of the country means a downgrade in your personal worth. It's the ultimate status trap. The system relies entirely on your ego to keep you chained to this structural debt cycle. It desperately needs you to endlessly pay premium rents and astronomical cost of living just so you can say you live in a specific prestigious zip code at dinner parties. Section 4. Buying Human Capital. The Great American Migration. But some people have figured out the game. We are currently witnessing a massive, unprecedented demographic shift fueled by a concept called Geo-Arbitrage. Interior states have looked closely at the wealth traps operating on the coasts, and they are actively weaponizing their own economies to poach top talent. These cities are literally buying human capital. Look at the extreme lengths they're going to.
The Northwest Arkansas Council in Fayetteville is offering $10,000 in pure cash plus a free mountain bike just to lure remote workers away from expensive coastal traps and over to their local trail systems. And they are backed by the massive corporate engines of the Walmart and Tyson economies, which are building out absolutely incredible local infrastructure. Topeka, Kansas is offering up to $15,000. Tulsa, Oklahoma gives you $10,000 in cash and free co-working space. They aren't just inviting you. They are systematically buying the tax base away from the coasts.
And here is exactly why the talent is moving so fast. If you make a $100,000 salary remotely and you choose to live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, your purchasing power becomes the equivalent of making roughly $155,000 in New York City. The math is just undeniable. When your rent plummets to $900 for a nice one-bedroom apartment instead of an agonizing $4,000, your dollar completely transforms. It goes from being this fragile, tiny instrument of mere survival that you desperately deploy just to keep a roof over your head into a massive, heavy tool for wealth creation. That extra $3,000 a month allows you to actually max out your investment accounts, start a business, and genuinely build generational wealth instead of just enriching a coastal landlord month after month. The mechanics of this escape are highly structured. Take the Tulsa remote blueprint, for example. We need to frame this not just as a manual, but as a literal, tactical escape plan from a rigged system. Step 1 isn't just about finding a job, it's about securing a remote lifeline. Step 2, you relocate, completely severing the geographic tie to the wealth extractor within 12 months. Step 3, you anchor your new, drastically lower cost of living by signing a local lease or mortgage. And step 4, the program actually hands you $10,000 through monthly disbursements just for changing your coordinates. This is the literal blueprint for escaping the high-cost trap and finally reclaiming your financial autonomy. Section 5, the two Americas, the real estate dichotomy. This brings us to the stark macroeconomic reality of 2026. America has fundamentally, irreversibly split into two distinct financial realities. Listen to me closely. Your financial destiny is no longer primarily about your raw talent. It's not about your work ethic. It is based almost entirely on your zip code. We are now looking at what economic researchers call the 2026 value cities. The median home price in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is a booming AI and robotics hub, by the way, is just $250,000. Your mortgage there takes up only 27.4% of the median income. Down in Brownsville, Texas, it gives you access to the Gulf Coast with a median home value of just $122,000. And over in Decatur, Illinois, you can literally buy a home for under $90,000. I want you to spend a full minute just comparing the daily lived reality of two people with the exact same remote job title and $100,000 salary. The person in San Jose is panicked. They're cutting back on groceries. They're losing sleep fighting for a $5,700 a month starter home mortgage. Meanwhile, the exact same person in Pittsburgh is relaxed. They are investing heavily. They are taking actual vacations, and they are thriving. One is building immense, lasting wealth. The other is permanently indentured to their environment. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of the divide we are talking about. The national median home price in 2026 has stabilized at an agonizing $436,523. But the interior of the country, it entirely ignores this average. You are looking at a permanent, structural discount of hundreds of thousands of dollars simply by refusing to play the rigged game on the coasts. The new paradigm is explicitly clear now. Income is no longer the primary wealth driver in America. Retained income is. The traditional 50-30-20 budgeting rule, you know the one, 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings, is an utter, complete failure in major metros today. For coastal residents, that needs category has violently mutated, eclipsing 80% or more of their entire take-home pay, leaving absolutely nothing for savings, let alone wants. The 21st century sanctuary cities are no longer sitting on the water. They are in the Midwest and the South. Living in Mississippi, Oklahoma, or Kansas is no longer just a lifestyle choice or some sort of compromise. It is a vital, strategic financial defense mechanism against a hostile economy that wants everything you earn. Section 6. The hidden final cost. Redefining the dream. We have to zoom out now. We need to look at the philosophical and deeply psychological conclusion of the 2026 economy. The key to financial resilience is no longer just how much one earns, but how much one's environment consumes. I really want you to let that reality sink deep into your mind. Your environment is a living, breathing entity, and right now it is actively eating your wealth.
Let's see how this builds into the ultimate realization. The rules of financial survival have been completely, irrevocably rewritten in America. Coastal living is no longer a necessity for career success, networking, or status. It is a luxury tax, a massive, voluntary, purely punitive tax that you pay for the sheer privilege of struggling. You are paying a premium just to sit in gridlocked traffic, a premium to buy the exact same groceries, a premium for a significantly smaller home, all while your hard-earned wealth is quietly transferred to the massive institutions that own the real estate and the utilities all around you.
And you want to know the absolute worst part about all of this? Most people will never realize it. They will just keep running on the treadmill, exhausted, burning out, and blaming themselves for not running fast enough, never once looking down to see that the machine itself is rigged against them. So, I leave you with this haunting question to chew on. Will you stay in the trap, or will you rewrite your geography? Thank you for exploring this deep dive with us. Do not let this vital information just sit there. Act on it. Subscribe to USA Rift right now, drop a comment below with your thoughts on this wealth trap, like this explainer, and seriously consider becoming a channel member to help us keep exposing the smallest, hidden details of how the system really works. Until next time, stay focused.